to pros and everything in between. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Yes, welcome in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. I am not Chris Yao. I am just some boy, and I am not from Alabama. I am from close to Alabama. JP Plant filling in for Chris Yao. He may be joining us later.
But you slept in the Holiday Inn Express.
I did sleep in a Holiday Inn Express last night. The Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Happy Friday, Mo. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. I've got a little trepidation about this next 2 hours, but other than that, I'm good. I'm good.
As some people say, buckle up and hold on.
Sit down, shut up and hang on, or something like that. No.
Yeah. So, it's going to be fun. We got a lot of cool things to get into today on the program. A jam-packed show as we always do on Friday, of course, SEC football, and maybe, Mo, collectively the best slate of college football games that we've seen in 2021 happening this week.
Well, kind of need it.
Yeah.
Because the warm-up has not always been great. But, yeah, just looking across the SEC in particular, you got a lot of great matchups, and I've not really had a chance to take a look at it on a national level because it's been a busy week.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll dive into that also as we do each and every Friday here, the local college preview, meaning any college in the state of Tennessee. We're going to touch on it, and there's quite a few and some interesting matchups that we'll run down as well. A little Titans conversation. We hope to be joined in our next segment by the intern. That's what I'm calling him now. The intern, right, Mo?
Yes.
He deserves that now.
Not intern one. No, there's only one. So.
There's only one. The intern. Andrew Moore will talk a little Titans as they get ready to go play the New York Jets. And there's been some smack talk apparently from some Jets fans and reporters or whatever. They think they're going to steal one somehow. We'll wait and see. I hope the Titans are not looking ahead, I guess I should say. So we'll talk about that coming up. And we had quite a slew of Thursday night games, Mo. You and Chris both were out last night. And some interesting rivalry games as well that we'll touch on coming up in just a little bit. So a lot to get to. And in our top stories, how about them Braves?
How about
them Braves?
Those Braves.
Those Bravos.
Getting
it done. You're right. Absolutely getting it done for sure. So we'll dive into all of that coming up. But first, Mo, as we do each and every day here on the program, we got a little business to take care of, right?
Exactly.
A little business to take care of. So let's get right to it. The Friday Rundown.
This is the Rundown. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support local youth sports in Southern Middle Tennessee.
In middle school football action on Thursday, Nashville Christian defeated Columbia Academy 36-8, and Mount Pleasant defeated Battle Creek 40-6. High school football, Thursday night lights, Marshall County with a 41-18 win over visiting Lawrence County. Pegasus Cup goes back to Summertown as the Eagles defeated visiting Loretto 19-0 on Thursday night. In volleyball action on Thursday, Loretto defeated Lincoln County 2-0. Summertown defeated Brooks and Rogers out of Alabama, downing Brooks 2-0 and Rogers 2-1. It was Hampshire 3, Santa Fe 1. Collinwood in 5 sets defeated Zion Christian 3-2. Mount Pleasant swept Culleoka 3-0. It was Ravenwood 3, Independence 1. Summit went on the road and swept Lebanon 3-0. Girls soccer action on Thursday. Tullahoma blanked Columbia Academy 6-0. Culleoka and Cornersville played to a 1-1 draw. Columbia Central edged Dixon County 2-1. Huntland shut out Fayetteville 3-0, and Lawrence County defeated Loretto 10-1. Also in women's soccer action yesterday, Columbia State defeated Dyersburg State 4-3. In high school football action tonight, Brentwood High School visits Independence in a big Region 7 6A matchup. Columbia Academy goes on the road to Mount Juliet Christian. In Region 6 5A, Columbia Central travels to Page. Summit hosts Ravenwood. Richland and Mount Pleasant play at the Mount in a big Region 5 2A contest, and Spring Hill travels to Nolensville. Volleyball action today. Summertown is at Columbia Central. That's a 6 o'clock start, and that is your Friday rundown here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today.
All right, so a lot to get into tonight in our top stories, Mo. Another division champion. I didn't realize it was the fourth straight, and I saw a graphic last night, Mo. 21 division titles, more than any other franchise. Now, I'm assuming that this is a modern modern baseball record, because prior to when they went to divisions, which I guess is the wild card era, of course, it was just your East and West that went. So since they moved to that, the Braves have more division titles than anyone.
I'm not sure exactly what line of delineation they're using. So, I don't know if they're going back to the start of divisional play in '69, or if, like you said, they're just going back to the three divisions and the wild card, which was in like '94, maybe. But they've won a bunch.
Either way, it's a lot.
Yeah, and the team of the '90s. And everything that they've done pretty much here since. They had that little drought near the end of the aughts, the start of the tens, and they've snapped back out of that. And again, they've now won 4 in a row. And for all of the preseason talk that you heard about the Nationals and the Phillies and the Mets, the Braves start a 3-game series to end the season here tonight against the Mets. The Mets are going to have a losing record to finish the year.
Wow.
They're 76-83 with 3 games left to play. So they've had some injuries. Phillies have had some injuries, but the Braves aren't trying to hear that just because of the injuries they've had. So
absolutely.
And I don't know that anybody did a better job of retooling on the fly than Alex Anthopoulos. He completely rebuilt an outfield at the trade deadline, and they really took off. And Jorge Soler hitting the leadoff home run last night to get things started for the Braves shows you just how big a trade deadline pickup he was. Obviously, what Adam Duvall has done since he's come over from Miami, Eddie Rosario coming over from Cleveland and getting healthy, and even Jock Peterson with the pearls of the last few nights. I don't know if you've seen those or not, but he's keeping things interesting. So, big week for the Braves, National League East champs again. And so now they kind of get some folks off their feet, which is kind of unfortunate because I've got tickets for tomorrow. So,
well, the hot dog will still taste good, and whatever beverage of choice will certainly taste good, knowing that they are in the playoffs, so you can relax a little bit. I'm curious, Mo, is this the best job by a Braves general manager mid-season in recent memory? Including maybe some of those teams of the '90s?
I think it has to be, just for the fact that most of those teams, other than the year that they went out and got Fred McGriff at the trade deadline, kind of trumped everything. But short of that, the number of moves that they made, the number of moves that they had to make, and the success of those moves. Alex Anthopoulos has to be the odds-on favorite in my mind for general manager of the year. And like you said, I don't know of another year that the Braves have made the moves that they've made in season and hit on all of them the way they did.
And one other question, Mo, kind of on this line of topic. The manager's Snicker, his job of kind of keeping things. I hear daily you and Chris talk about it. He's kind of an outside the box, perhaps. I guess some look at it in that way. He's not your mainstream manager, but how much credit do you think he deserves in kind of keeping this team together and battling through some of this?
I think right or wrong, Snitker believes in his guys, maybe to a fault in some cases, looking at you, Will Smith. But, he believes in his guys, and I would imagine that creates a bit of comfort in those guys that they don't have to look over their shoulder and wonder, in the next key situation, am I going to get the opportunity to go out there? If I don't get it done here, is it going to be somebody else the next time around, or am I going to get the opportunity to redeem myself, or how is that going to work? And again, right or wrong, that seems to be the thing, and they seem to respond to that. And again, Will Smith with 2 saves in this Philadelphia series, 1-2-3 last night to close it out, closing out a 5-3 victory. So, I mean, he makes it interesting, but this week in particular, I mean, going back to the Sunday game out at San Diego, I mean, he loaded the bases and then he shut them down. And so, I mean, you just got to take whatever it takes to calm you down when 51 comes in. But that's the guy that's going to be in there if the Braves have a lead in the 9th. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's who you got. So you got to ride with them at this point.
Apparently. Yeah.
No question.
So Braves 86-72 coming into the weekend. National League East champs taking on the Mets. That's a 6:20 start tonight down at Truist Park. Huascar Ynoa gets the start, 4-5 with a 3.98 ERA. Tyler McGill 3-6 with a 4.78 going for the Mets. So should be an interesting series with everything wrapped up.
Yeah, you got to love, though, going in knowing that you win 3 and that you sweep them, and that clinches. That's huge, I think, going into the playoffs. That playoff mindset, I think, can't be understated. And, what a great momentum going in. And, the 3 days off, I say off, I'm sure some players will rest, but it's not such a long period of time that you could lose your edge. It's probably just enough to get a little rest, right?
And what's tough is they won't begin their National League Division Series against Milwaukee until Friday. So they're going to have almost a week off. So, listen, I watched the replay of the game last night, and, you'll probably see starters in and out this next 3 games. You might get a couple of ABs on Sunday in the finale, just to stay sharp, because after Sunday, you're going to have 4 days off. So I'll be interested to see how they manage the lineup and how they, line the pitching up and that kind of thing here in this 3-game series against the Mets.
Yeah. And we've got some high school football. I tell you what, Moses, we're under 2 minutes now. Let's at the top of the next segment, and we'll bring in Andrew Moore as well. We'll touch on a couple of last night's games, because I got a question. What are you looking to see out of the Braves this weekend? I mean, you're actually going to see them, but what, as a fan, what do you want to see out of them in this final weekend with the series, or it's clinched up? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what kind of buzz there is in the stadium, really having already wrapped it up. I mean, I'd like for them to take a couple of these. Certainly don't want to go down there and see them lose, but I'm kind of intrigued by who's going to be on the field the next few days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a lot of fun, and sometimes more enjoyable when they're not expected necessarily to be the team. Although we had high hopes coming in, you get in July and they're 44-44, and then they get it done, Mo. They just get it done.
Yeah, they battled. They grinded, as Snitker likes to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you like grinders when you get in the playoffs, because oftentimes you get into those grinding out games, and you like your chances if you're in that frame of mind, and the Braves certainly are for sure. All right, coming up, we will check in with the intern, Andrew Moore, talk a little Titans, a couple of games in our area last night in high school football, including Lawrence County, Marshall County. The Pegasus Cup, Mo was at that game. We'll get his reaction to that one as well. All that coming up. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company Studios, plural, right after this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
And welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. JP Plant in for Chris Yao temporarily. Oh, no, not Chris. There we go. JP and Mo. The Hall of Famer is here, so we're okay. As long as we got Mo, we're okay. We're doing okay. So I hate Chris wasn't able to participate in that Braves conversation. I'm sure there'll be plenty of time to discuss it, but the two of you are about as big Braves fans as I know, and I know last night was a big night for the two of you.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate that our focuses were kind of split between the Braves and our respective football games last night. But hate when work gets in the way of a good time.
Exactly.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of work and high school football, we had several Thursday night games, including a couple in our own backyard. Marshall County defeated Lawrence County last night, 41-18. It was closer though than what that score would indicate, and certainly Chris was at that game. You can read his story at mainstreetpreps.com, mainstreetmurray.com. And as a Lawrence County guy, those that listen and watch the show know that I'm the resident Wildcat, I guess, of the bunch. And so I was proud. And reading about how the line play for Lawrence County really got physical with Marshall County, something that they haven't done in a long time. And it's good to see that they're progressing. They had a couple of really good drives, had a couple of things that didn't go their way necessarily, and thus maybe the score it kind of shoots in that angle. But all in all, a good performance by the Wildcats last night, 41-18, as Marshall County kind of hovering in that 3-4 range in that big region. You got Tullahoma, Mo. You got Pearl-Cohn. Of course, Tullahoma defeated Pearl-Cohn, so they've got one leg up on them. They also defeated Marshall County. So Marshall County had to keep up in order to try to get that fourth spot, unless they upset maybe Pearl-Cohn when they meet.
Yeah, going back just a second, JP, you were mentioning the line play for Lawrence County, and that was something that we had talked about even back in the preseason. Felt like that might be a strength of this ball club, with some of the coaching staff deployments and some of the focal points of some of those assistants. In particular, Lawrence County rushed for 244 yards last night and really got Marshall County coach Thomas Osteen's attention with that effort. So you gotta like you said, what they were able to get done offensively, particularly on the ground. It didn't always end up in the end zone, but they were able to get some things done offensively. And for Marshall County, I don't think they really felt safe until they got the big 72-yard kickoff return late in the third quarter from Lamarian Pierce to kind of break things loose. And then I think they scored twice more in the fourth. So like you said, the 41-18 score may not accurately depict just how close this ball game was at one point.
Yeah, that kickoff return, I actually happened to be watching at that time, and Mo, that's just something speed. You can't teach, and you have it or you don't, and they just were able to. It was a kick to the left side. It was between the hash and the sidelines, and it was a planned play apparently for Marshall County. And as soon as he caught it, he just shoveled it back to his teammate, and by that point, all the focus from the Lawrence County kickoff coverage had morphed to that side of the field, and he just outran everybody the other side and down for a touchdown. It was, what can you do?
And not only was it a surprise to the Lawrence County coverage team, but apparently it was a surprise to the Marshall County coaching staff, because Pearson and Devontae Davis kind of drew that one up in the dirt.
In the dirt with a stick. Yep.
Executed it. Yeah, you mentioned backyard a little bit ago. That's pretty much what this was. But credit to Osteen and the coaching staff for being willing to ride with his guys like that and say, hey, if you think you can make something work, make it work, but you better make it work. I'd imagine is the way that goes. And it certainly did there. So I think that's the key to this Marshall County team. You mentioned speed. Pierce had a touchdown reception. He had the kickoff return, and he also returned an interception for a touchdown. So they've got some game breakers over there. And I would imagine they're going to be a problem for everybody else that they see between here and the end of the regular season as they try to grab one of what would look like two remaining playoff spots behind Tullahoma and Pearl Cone, like you said.
Yeah, then of course you got Montgomery Central that is still undefeated, and so Marshall County still has Pearl Cone and Montgomery Central left on their schedule to play. So that little round robin or head to head will definitely be what will solidify those seedings for sure in that realm. So. All right, the game you were at last night, the Pegasus Cup, one of the cooler trophies in southern Middle Tennessee, Summertown hosting Loretto. And going into last night, you and Chris and myself as well, we thought, and we talked with their head coach, Barry Daniel, yesterday about how close they've been, Mo, in so many games. And you just felt that they were ready to get over that hump. And Summertown had different plans, and they win at 19-0 last night.
Well, Summertown had different plans, and speaking to Coach Daniel after the game last night, I don't think I'm speaking out of school, but he seemed a little disappointed in the focus, in the effort of his team. He just felt like they weren't as tuned in as perhaps they could have been, particularly in a game of that magnitude, a game that was a region game and was a rivalry game. And he just he wasn't real happy with the way they came out, with the edge or with the lack of that they came out with. But Summertown certainly took advantage. Colton Schaefer in particular scoring a couple of second half touchdowns, rolling up 189 total offensive yards in that 19-0 victory to celebrate his 18th birthday.
Hey, there you go. That's a nice birthday gift. A win over your rival in convincing fashion, nonetheless, too.
A win over your rival in convincing fashion to really keep yourself in the mix in terms of postseason play, because this region isn't as big as the one that Lawrence County's in. It's a 6-team region, and Summertown improved to 2-1 with that win. They've still got Mount Pleasant and Cascade to go out and play the rest of the way. Mount Pleasant plays Richland tonight. Cascade plays Forest tonight. So there's still a lot to be decided there, but with the Eagles sitting at 2-1, they feel pretty good going forward here.
Yeah, no question. With that win, as you talk about, that they still have a chance, Mo, to host a playoff game to get into that 2 seed, depending on how they can play against. Let's see, they already played. Was it Forest? I believe.
Yes, they've lost to Forest.
That's their one loss in region.
Richland. Yeah. So, yeah, they've got some chances depending on how some other things shake out. They are definitely in the hunt for a home game to open the playoffs.
All right. How was the atmosphere last night?
It was great. I mean, a lot of folks from both sides. The student section sitting down there in the, I guess it was the east end zone of the field, and it was just a lot of fun. That's a big rivalry. Obviously, this is the 7th year that they've played, and that win gives Summertown a 4-3 lead in the series. So pretty cool. And like you said, I mean, the Pegasus thing, it took a second for me to really get it, but Eagles, Mustangs, horses, birds, Pegasus.
Yeah. Pegasus is a horse with wings.
Yeah,
flying horse. So there you go.
Oh, I like it. Pretty
there
catchy.
You go. Yeah. And it never hurts when you can get a little brisket pregame meal as well.
Never.
Yeah.
That's a
good
hurts.
Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we got the intern on the line with us as shifted gears from the preps to the pros, which we do here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Andrew Moore joins us to talk a little Titans. Andrew, welcome back in. It's First Friday, which for your job, this is a busy day for you, right?
It is a very busy day, which I'm really glad y'all called me. I was able to sneak across the street and hide and sit down in the warehouse over here and take a little breather. Yeah, we got First Friday. We have Oktoberfest this weekend, so it's definitely been a busy day.
Well, we appreciate you taking a little time with us, and I know, talking to you last week, heading into the Colts game, Andrew, which I believe you went. You did go, correct?
That is correct. I was there.
I knew you were going to be sitting on your hands and biting your fingernails throughout the game based on the history with the Colts. How was the experience on Sunday?
The atmosphere was fantastic. It's something that has unfortunately happened over the last several years. You see what I call the opposing team takeover. You see a lot of opposing fans outnumber the Titans fans, which really honestly was not the case on Sunday. There were a lot of Titans fans, not that many Colts fans. It was loud. The atmosphere was great. People were having a great time. Everyone was screaming and yelling and cheering. So it was a really good first game back for me. First game in 2 years that I've been to, and I was really happy to be there.
Mo?
Shifting gears, Andrew, away from last week and head on to New York, as Belichick would say. Saw a tweet earlier this afternoon. Both A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are down for this ball game. What do you take from that, and what are your thoughts / concerns going into a game without your two top receivers or your projected two top receivers?
Obviously, you want all of your star power, your starters out there for every game. But if we're the team that we think that we are and we're the team that we want to be, you don't necessarily need an A.J. Brown or a Julio Jones out there to beat the Jets or to beat the Jaguars. So I believe after those two games over the next 2 weeks, we have Buffalo, we have Kansas City, we have Indy again, we have the Rams. So that's really the meat of the schedule. That's some of the toughest games that we have to play. So would you like to have them out there? Absolutely. But give them a little bit of rest. Give those bodies time to heal up for those big games. The biggest concern that I would have is turnovers. The Jets are a good defense. Offense, not so much, but their defense is pretty stout. They're dealing with some injuries right now. But if we can, amend that turnover problem that we've had so far this year, I don't want to speak too soon, but I mean, there really shouldn't be any real big concerns when it comes to facing the Jets next week.
That was kind of my thought when I saw that, if there's a game that you could play without AJ and Julio and still feel pretty good about your chances, this would probably be that game. And so, if you can hold those guys out and get whatever it is that ails them 100% going forward, this isn't a game that you don't necessarily mind not having them to get them healthy for the next 3 quarters of the season, basically.
That's absolutely right. And at the end of the day, you still have Ryan Tannehill. You still have Derrick Henry. For the next 2 weeks, like I said, the Jets and the Jags, that should be enough. But we talked about even back going to preseason, how deep this wide receiver core for the Titans is. So we're going to see names like Nicholas Burkikina, who scored a touchdown last week. Mm-hmm. Chester Rogers, who scored a touchdown last week. Marcus Johnson, I believe, is coming off IR. He had a really good training camp preseason. They'll put him back on the field. Josh Reynolds is healthy again. You get to see him. So, like I said, if this was any other team other than the Jets, I might be a little bit concerned. But it's just a good opportunity for these depth players, these role players, to get out there and show that they earned that spot on the team going all the way back to training camp.
Andrew Moore, our guest with us. I guessed it's kind of funny saying that our intern talking Titans. Andrew, we got about 30 seconds left before we let you get out of here. You feel good about the Jets game?
I'll try to make this quick. Anytime a good team goes up against a bad team, you can consider that a trap game. Anytime that happens.
The T word.
But I think even going back to last year, we went into Cincinnati, got our faces stomped in. Well, maybe they learned a little bit from that. Maybe I should be concerned, but honestly, I really don't have any concerns going into New Jersey. on Sunday. Hopefully, I won't have to eat these words next week when we talk Titans again.
No kidding. No kidding. Andrew Moore, the intern, with us here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today. Andrew, we appreciate it. Have fun tonight, all right?
Oh, I'm going to have a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great weekend.
Yeah, go see Andrew. First Friday's down at Asgard Brewery, and if you're in Columbia tonight, great people down there. All right, Mo and I coming back, talking local college games for the weekend. Stay with us.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
And welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. I am not Chris Yao, and I am not from Alabama. But as Mo mentioned, I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. It was my own. And it would sound weird if I'm introducing myself there, Mo, so we roll with the punches. Welcome in, JP and Mo, hanging out with you on a Friday, a fun Friday, and soon to be a Fast Stop Friday. We'll have that coming up in our next hour as we look into some SEC football and killer slate, a killer slate coming up here week 5, right? Isn't that right, Mo? Week 5?
I believe it is.
Man.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yep. Week 7 in high school football tonight, last night tonight, so crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun.
No
or
kidding.
Something like that.
No kidding. All right. Yeah, hour 2, we'll talk a little SEC football, some national college football stories, and the pick'em. The picks. Mo, you continue. You're on a nice little easy slope in the correct direction. You're trending upward.
Yeah, I think I've gone 5-5 each of the last 2 weeks, and pretty proud to do so.
Yeah, it's been a crazy set of games this year, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, we just
Absolutely.
it's anybody that thinks they really have are tapped into what's happening, we're all just guessing. It's just all a guess.
Yeah,
It
it
makes it
really is, and I think we've touched on some of the reasons why it is so volatile this year. But it's fun to watch,
Yeah.
and fortunate, and unlike our counterpart who's not in the room right now, I don't put money on these things, so I can just enjoy the chaos.
Meanwhile, he embraces the chaos because that's who he is.
He does, and he's
Yes.
invested in the chaos, literally.
Invested. Absolutely. For entertainment purposes only. Anyway, so we've got some local schools that we like to talk about here on the program and get you guys up to speed on some of the games. The kind of left out of the dance team currently, the Memphis Tigers, who did not get the Big 12 bid. And I wonder, Mo, their loss to UTSA, which is a really good football team. We can't take away from what they've done, but I wonder if how much that kind of hung over the Tigers program last week heading into that game. Perhaps took a little bit of the focus off of what was on the field and more on the lack of respect that they perceived that they were not invited to the Big 12.
That's a valid question. That's a valid point. I think though that I think to delve too deep into that theory kind of takes away from UTSA, because like you said, they are a pretty good ball club. They beat Illinois. They beat a Big Ten team in Illinois. I don't think Illinois is particularly great, but they are a Big Ten program. So anytime a Conference USA team can go and win a game like that on the road, I think it's a pretty big deal. Memphis coming off of their win 2 weeks ago down at that was at the Liberty Bowl against Mississippi State. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that was a good matchup, and UTSA just got it done. I do think that there is some bother probably on the Memphis campus and in the city of Memphis regarding the Big 12 snub, and I'm still interested to see what happens with them, where they go from here, and both they and the American Athletic Conference as a whole, what happens next for them. We were fortunate enough to get Matt Brown of Extra Points on to kind of talk about conference realignment and that kind of thing earlier this week. But they do, like you said, seem to kind of be the odd man out in a lot of the stuff that's going on at this point. But, this game tomorrow against Temple is a big one for them. It's a conference game, and it's on the road.
It is.
So,
yep. Yeah, at Lincoln Financial Field, where the Eagles play.
Where the Eagles play,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's right.
So should be an interesting 11 a.m. matchup on the U.
Yep, they're favored, Mo, by 11 points in this one. So a kind of right the ship opportunity for the Tigers. Conference game, as you mentioned, going on the road. They can kind of huddle around each other and try to push out all that noise that may or may not have affected them, and for them, a big surprising loss to a team that they probably felt they were better than in UTSA. Right. 3-1, being a conference game, they still have an opportunity to win this conference, obviously, and that can go a long way to where your bowl opportunities.
No question.
So that's Memphis at Temple again, as you mentioned, 11 a.m. Central from Philadelphia on the U. As the Tigers look to get back in the win column there. SEMO at Tennessee Tech tomorrow afternoon, ESPN Plus 1:30. Tech coming into this one here, Mo, is what do you like about this one?
I just like the opportunity for Tech, particularly at home, to pick up a win here. That's just I think it'd be much needed, especially considering the Golden Eagles are winless to this point. SEMO has won their only conference game, but they're 1-3 overall. So you'd like to feel like this is a winnable game for Tech and Dwayne Alexander and that bunch up there. And they just really need some positive momentum at this point, I think. So should be an interesting ball game.
All right, so Tech looking to get in the win column for the first time this year, as you mentioned. It's a 1:30 game on ESPN Plus tomorrow afternoon. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Chris's team, the Yowtastics, Jacksonville State at Kennesaw. And Kennesaw is a good football team, too. This is going to be an interesting football game tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, this is two of your new ASUN members. Well, Kennesaw has been in the ASUN. Jack State is new to the league. I guess this is a league game with whatever, affiliation. I think that the ASUN reached out to the WAC. They've got some kind of a scheduling alliance. You got to be careful with alliances in college sports these days. But I think this is some sort of a league game here, and Jacksonville State still probably riding the momentum of that Florida State win, although they lost to Martin last week. So maybe this will be a little bit closer. This game here tomorrow will be a little bit closer to what they actually are. I'm interested to kind of keep an eye on this one. Like I said, it's a matchup of two of these teams in this new football conglomeration of
I like that word.
Mid-major / FCS programs. So definitely something to keep an eye on, and I'm sure Mr. Yao will be. So
absolutely, it's kind of like the hybrid vehicles. It's kind of a mixture of both. You're right, and these two teams, obviously Jacksonville State with the success that they've had, it really in all sports, is attractive, obviously, to conferences. But Kennesaw State, fairly new and up-and-comer, they've grown really quickly, but, of course, their location north of Atlanta, somewhat in the suburbs, just in the county.
You drive right by the campus pretty much if you're coming into Atlanta on 75 out of Chattanooga, and it's a pretty impressive looking area out there. And I would think that location is something that athletic program can really use to their advantage.
Yeah, no question. They've added that momentum on the field as well. So that's tomorrow, Jacksonville State at Kennesaw, 2 o'clock kickoff for that one. Go to the Southern Conference, ETSU. They are in action tomorrow. We really have to talk about them. They are taking on Wofford tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sorry, JP.
Yeah.
I mean, are you are they a to the death enemy for you now?
Well, I guess after what happened last Saturday, we kind of forgot about ETSU with what Georgia did to Vanderbilt. So maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with, this is like the final round of Survivor this week with Vandy and Connecticut, and we can talk more about it, of course, when they play. But you talk about somebody's got to stay on that island, so you just hope it's Vanderbilt. We'll see. But Wofford, an old Southern Conference rivalry here, Wofford and ETSU.
Yeah, no question, and I'm interested to see how ETSU continues to build on a big win over a Southeastern Conference program, and I'm sure that's how they're selling it. They may not necessarily mention who the program was, but big win for them, especially considering, again, this is a program that had been shut down not all that long ago. So to see them in this SoCon game against Wofford will be worth kind of keeping an eye on. 2:30 start.
Yeah, the Terriers, by the way, of Wofford.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful campus over in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Wofford is, and they have a big running attack. Always have been, run like the Wishbone or the something along those lines. So the Terriers, that's an interesting team.
Ankle biters.
Yeah, that's right. Our Blue Raiders got a big one coming up Saturday night at 6 o'clock at Johnny Red Floyd Stadium. We are Marshall ascending on the Burrow. And the Blue Raiders are kind of just riding that line. They had that close game against Charlotte. Charlotte's obviously a good football team, and maybe surprised a little bit with what the Blue Raiders were able to do in that one, and nearly pulling off, I guess, somewhat the upset. So, do you take some positive vibes out of that game and coming back home against Marshall?
I think you take some positive vibes out of that from the standpoint that your quarterback, Chase Cunningham, in his first career start, really acquitted himself pretty well. 5 touchdowns, 300 plus passing yards in that narrow Friday night loss at Charlotte. It's Hall of Fame weekend. And so you've got all of the alumni back on campus and that kind of thing. They're honoring Nathaniel Brooks, among others. And I don't know if there's necessarily pressure on the football team, but this isn't a game that you want to lose with these folks and the attention and everything else that comes with this weekend. So this would be a big one for Middle to get, I think. They're 1-3 now after the loss at Charlotte, like you said, following the loss at the aforementioned UTSA, and at Virginia Tech the week before that. So hopefully the schedule gets a little easier this weekend, because next week you go to Liberty. So, I mean, this is one that Middle really needs to get, not just from a conference standpoint, but just, to have a good feeling about themselves going into that Liberty game. That's going to be a challenge. And then they're off the following weekend before going to UConn. So,
yeah, no question.
It's been a tough stretch for them, and to pick one up here this weekend would be huge for them, I think.
That'd be huge. That'd be a big win against Marshall. Campbell's at UNA Saturday night, and then TSU at Austin Peay. About 30 seconds, Mo, as Tennessee State, the Tigers, and the Govs.
Tough matchup for the Tigers. They won big against Kentucky State. Keeping that momentum will be key. Austin Peay's awfully good.
All right, there you go. So plenty of games. If you like to follow local colleges, you can do so. Coming up hour 2, little SEC talk. We'll run down the games. Mo and I will. Yal may be joining us as well. And our picks all straight ahead. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company Studios right after this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Preps to pros and everything in between. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. I am Chris Yao, and I am back. Man, what a day it's been. A crazy Friday from top to bottom, folks. And I'm happy to be back joining you for hour number 2. Mo, how you been?
Been all right. It's been an interesting hour.
I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, well,
on the podcast.
You do that.
Podcast is going to be fun, I'm sure. You guys already talked about the Titans.
We did talk about the Titans. We
fun.
talked about A.J. Brown and Julio Jones being down for this weekend. We got Andrew the intern in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about that. Before we get into SEC football, I want to mention I got a blurb from the Daily Memphian via email about 15 minutes ago. Headline: Exclusive Liberty Bowl to become Simmons Bank Memorial Stadium with naming rights deal. The naming rights deal with Simmons Bank will help make dramatic improvements to the stadium, according to Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland. And that's about all I can read at this moment.
Well, that's wild.
Yeah. So
It's not even Wednesday.
Yeah, it's wild and wacky though, huh? So, I'd be interested to know when that's going to actually take effect. I mean, literally, the building where they play football in Memphis has been the Liberty Bowl for as long as I can remember. That's a shock to the system right there.
That would be like
renaming Legion Field in Birmingham,
or the Coliseum, or
yeah,
the Rose Bowl. Could you imagine? Which it is AT&T Stadium, right? At the Rose Bowl.
Is it? I don't know.
It has naming rights, but they still call it the Rose Bowl. They're not going to call this.
It's not going to be the Liberty Bowl. It's going to be
Simmons
Bank Memorial Stadium.
Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Is Simmons Bank dead?
It's a heck of a question.
I'm so confused now.
That's a valid question.
Anyway, before we get started in SEC football, I got to tell you, Mo, you know what day it is? It's Friday. And that means it's Fast Stop Friday. And did you know Fast Stop Markets is probably best known for its stores where you can fill up your tank or get some great food, drinks, or whatever it is you need on the go, but it's also a generous community partner. Through its parent company's foundation, the Highland Corporation Charitable Foundation, over the years, it's given hundreds of thousands of dollars to good causes throughout Middle and West Tennessee. Fast Stop employees and other people in the community, they submit requests for funds to help families in need, school children, education, whatever is necessary. So recently, they helped out in Waverly, of course, with the flooding, with education and emergency supplies. This week, they held their annual golf tournament fundraiser. Give you a guess on how much they made. $200,000, more than 84,000. That's right. $200,000 that will be dispersed back in the communities where Fast Stop Markets are located. So bottom line, if you're going to choose convenience store, choose Fast Stop, because you know that store and your dollars will also be helping your neighbors and friends. Now you can find out information about the foundation and donate online at faststopmarkets.com. Pretty cool. $200,000.
Solid.
Let's talk a little SEC football. I don't even have my computer pulled up. So, like, I don't even, who's playing this week? Is there any good games this week?
Yeah.
A few, maybe.
Depends on your definition. Some of the, well, I don't know.
I'll tell you.
Because, at least one of them is in our pick'em. So we'll skip Arkansas, Georgia.
Probably,
which is a 11 o'clock kickoff. I think we talked about that earlier this week, that this game was an 11 o'clock kickoff.
We did, and it's very odd, but it's because Chris and Herbie are doing the game, and they're going to be picking inside the stadium, which is odd in and of itself.
Stanford Stadium's a nice place to watch ball games.
I wouldn't know. I've never been to Stanford.
It's pretty cool. Also at 11 a.m. Central Time, Tennessee is at Missouri.
Let's talk about that one, obviously, because, I mean, this is an opportunity which apparently Boston College in Tier 4, according to R.J. Young.
Who is R.J. Young?
I don't know.
He tweeted something else this week after we talked about that. And I'm like, who is this guy? And why do we care what he thinks?
I mean, I don't care, I guess. So I guess we talked about it enough to care.
Yeah.
But Missouri goes up there, loses to Boston College, who's apparently a Tier 4 team. And I don't know where we're at. Like, I don't know if we're supposed to be a winner here. If Tennessee wins this game, is it an upset? Or I guess if Tennessee wins any game, it's an upset right now.
I think there's something to that. I also think because Tennessee is so unsettled offensively, if they win this game, it's an upset. Because Milton is still out, I guess.
I don't know.
Hooker is, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with UT.
I don't know what's going on with UT. I do think the offense is not bad. I don't think they're good, but they also played a pretty good Florida defense last week. So I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to come down to whether or not Tennessee can hit on a couple deep balls.
Well, I
and-
mean, if it's going to be a shootout, then Tennessee's got to shoot.
Well, and I think that's possible because I don't think Missouri's defense is very good.
Okay.
And I'm basing that off of Boston College.
Sure.
And I obviously had a very low expectation for Boston College. Maybe I was wrong there. I don't know. Because again, we've talked about it on the show. We don't really know anything when
Yeah.
it comes to college football this year.
No, clearly.
It could be, who knows? So anyway, you've got Tennessee, Missouri at 11, and that's going to be a good one. Is Ole Miss Alabama in our pick one?
I would
It is, so
assume
yeah, I
it
would think
is.
so too. So
I'd like to think JP is saying it is. So good. Okay. So we're going to go on to Troy and South Carolina at 2:30.
I think this is a game Troy could win.
Sure. Just because we don't know about South Carolina.
Who knows?
Is our GA still playing quarterback?
I don't think so. I think the starter is back now.
Oh,
but I think
that's
he's a backup.
unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
I don't think he's a GA. I think he is still dressing. I think he is a player. I don't think he is playing.
Kind of feels like that Scott Bakula movie, Unnecessary Roughness.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, dude. I love that movie because every time there's a fumble in a football game, Fumblerooski, Fumbleina fumbles the ball every time, never fails. And then if you're my dad, Cordova always recovers. They've recovered every fumble that's ever happened since the beginning of my
They got
life.
it. Whether they fumbled it or somebody else fumbled it, they always get it.
Don't even matter if they're playing; they get it every time. Never fails. So,
Let's see.
the
Florida,
next game, that's
yeah.
the one that I've kind of got my eye on because again, this is on the road. We don't know what Florida's like on the road yet. And Kentucky has an offense capable enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one could be a bit of a trap for Florida.
Is this? This isn't in our pick'em, is it, JP? Florida, Kentucky. No. Okay. All right. So we can talk about this.
Well, I just think it could be a potential trap for Florida. I mean, I don't know what Florida's schedule looks like next week.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure.
I'm not
either.
really worried about. I just think that you're going into. They got Vandy next week, so they're not looking ahead. I can tell you that. But
Unless it's 2 weeks ahead.
But it's still, I mean, Kentucky at home, Kroger Field has quietly become a pretty impressive place to play football. And Mark Stoops, you never know. I mean, he's a pretty good football coach. He might have something drawn up for old Dan Mullen and Todd Grantham.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
You know what? At this point, I don't even like Kentucky, but yes, I would love to see Todd Grantham get torched by Kentucky's whatever offense they got. So anyway,
Mississippi State at Texas A&M. It's a 6:00 kick out in College Station.
another game that's kind of sneaky good because, again, Texas A&M still struggling with they still got the backup quarterback issue. They're coming off a loss to Arkansas. They have one of two things they can do. They can either fight or flight. What do they do? And Mississippi State, that's it.
Mississippi State 2 weeks removed from a loss to Memphis.
That's, yeah. I mean, and lost last week at home to LSU.
So
Either
that fight or flight thing this game could define
Mike
somebody's
Leach.
season one way or the other.
I mean, Mike Leach is probably sitting there going, I've got to win a football game. And they've got nothing to lose. They're going into the number 15 team in the country, going into Kyle Field with nothing to lose. Who knows?
Yeah.
Look, everything is who knows at this point, except for this next one.
It's who knows as well.
Now, Vanderbilt will win this by 3 touchdowns.
You're just saying that because JP is listening.
Easy now.
Maybe. I mean, Vanderbilt should win this by 3 touchdowns.
If
I don't know that they will.
If they
UConn
don't, we will be very disappointed.
I mean, this is an opportunity for you guys to get something done.
Yeah.
Get that off your back and just get a home win in front of your 1,400 fans.
Which scares the hell out of me, to be honest with you.
I love you guys.
Absolutely
Just snuck that one
terrified
in.
of this
Yeah,
game.
dude, man, just right in there.
Terrified.
Vandy ought to win that game.
You're right. They should. Who should win this one? Auburn at LSU, 8:00 kick.
That
We
that
talked
is in
about
our
this.
pick 'em too, by the way.
Oh, never mind.
I'll tell you who is not going to win it is Brian Harsin. No matter what he does,
It won't be
whether
enough.
it's TJ Finley or Bo Nix, half the people going to be mad.
Well,
At
they
least
don't.
until the end of the game.
Right.
If they win, everybody be happy. If they lose,
Then everybody's going to be mad.
everybody's going to be mad because he should have done whatever he didn't do. So,
Welcome to the loveless village on the plains, huh?
no doubt. Yeah, SEC football is wild this week, man. I'm excited about it. This is a week of very evenly matched ball games when you're talking about Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, Ole Miss, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky potentially, and then Auburn, LSU. I think LSU is pretty bad. So it's an 8:00 kickoff in Death Valley. So who knows? I mean, that's the X factor there.
Here's the one thing you can count on in an 8:00 kickoff in Death Valley.
Ain't nobody going to remember the game tomorrow.
The fans will definitely be ready.
2 words: sauced up.
Oh,
Hey,
good
do
Lord.
y'all remember when the LSU fans tried to fight the Auburn radio crew at the night game?
No.
It was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. Maybe it was right after Bramlett got the job. And they tried to climb into the Auburn radio booth. It was nuts. Wow. Yeah, go look that story up.
By the way, guys, if you remember, it was against Auburn that LSU had that earthquake measurement that is
Oh,
so
yeah,
historic. It was against
This-
Auburn.
They love to play the Tigers down there because they're like, we're the real Tigers, dang it. And they don't say dang.
No, they don't.
They had a couple adjectives in there too, descriptors. Oh man! All right, hey, I'm gonna let you take us out because I still don't have to run a show up and I don't know what's coming next.
Oh,
Let me know what we're talking about next.
we got
Talking
our national
national.
college football games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, national
Well, that makes
storylines.
sense.
Yeah.
National college football storylines and our pick 'em in the
Correct.
final segment of the day. I'll be here. I'm excited. So
We're
glad to be
excited to
back.
have you.
So glad to be back. I know my dad's going, hey, there he is.
Where's he been?
It's okay. I'll see him tomorrow. He'll
You
be
think
all
he was still listening since you weren't on?
right. No, he said, screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. He likes JP a lot. No, I'm
Let
just
somebody
kidding.
know.
Thanks.
No. Every time I talk to him, he says, make sure if I ever come up there that I get a chance to meet Mo. So there you go. We'll be back on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint with national college football and more. Stick around. Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company Studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Young.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Coming to you from the Lee Company Studio, WKOM 1017 FM. Glad to be with you here on this Friday as we get you ready for college and pro football. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know you guys are looking forward to it out there. And if you have your picks, join our pick 'em. Heck, you still got a chance to beat us. We ain't been very good. So JP's at 500. Are you still at 500, JP?
20 and 20. Yep.
20 and 20. So
500.
see,
Breaking even.
You can definitely beat me. I've won like 12. I'm like 12 and 30 or something. It's not good. It's not good. It's what it is.
So you're 20 and 20, JP?
That's correct.
So I'm 15 and 25?
Probably.
Yeah. Lovely.
So
I'll take that though right now, as crazy as college football is.
yeah, I mean, yes. Did you happen to watch the game last night? Speaking of crazy, Did you see any highlights or anything? JP, did you watch Virginia Miami?
I caught the last 2 minutes of the game, so I saw the missed field goal.
Missed field goals get you every time. Just ask Mount Juliet.
Is that how they lost?
They missed the field goal that would have won it. So, yeah, it's been tough Thursday for kickers. Lawrence County didn't have any. Marshall County missed one and had one blocked. It's just a rough night. Tomorrow, things get crazy early. We already know about Arkansas, Georgia, and of course Tennessee playing at 11. But you've got Pitt at Georgia Tech, which in the ACC could have some implications. I mean, because who knows what's going on over there?
Well, you also got
Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah, at 11. Yeah.
And Louisville, Wake Forest
at 11:30.
It's nuts, man. It's going to be an absolutely crazy day.
What is the big night game in
Boston
the ACC?
College, Clemson. Boston College at Clemson on the ACC network.
At 6:30.
And
so they were clearing the decks for that?
Well, I mean, what else were you going to use? Syracuse, Florida State? Nobody shows up to Florida State anymore. So
can't much blame them.
Right? I mean, it's just this is one of those days where you look at the college football schedule and you think, what are we going to find out outside of the SEC?
Mm-hmm. Here's what we're going to find out.
2:30 on NBC?
1:30.
1:30 on NBC? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's in the pick'em, but yeah,
it is.
But
That's really where we're going to find out whether or not Cincinnati has. If Cincinnati wins this game and they don't lose, they're in the playoff, right?
Got to be.
They just have to win this game.
They do have to win this game, though. Because I don't know what Cincinnati's schedule is, but I don't know that there's another game that they can win that puts a one-loss Cincinnati team in the playoffs.
The win over Indiana now does not look nearly as good as it did, or as it would have if Indiana had stayed ranked, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't play anybody else. I mean, the rest of it's conference play. It's Temple, UCF, Tulane, Navy, Tulsa, South Florida, East Carolina, and SMU. Now, should they go undefeated in that schedule? Abso-freaking-lutely. The bottom line is they win this game, they're probably going to be in the playoff. And absolutely should be.
Here's a game that does not have playoff implications, but could have career implications.
Mm-hmm.
Because at 6:30 tomorrow night, Northwestern goes to Lincoln, Nebraska.
If Scott Frost does not win this game, he becomes the number one hot seat in the country. Despite the fact that
we don't have the clip queued up, but somebody earlier this week, when we asked who's got the hottest seat in the country, answered, "How can it not be Scott Frost?" I'm not pointing any fingers, but you know,
let's wait till they lose the
game.
Let's wait till they play this one. And Northwestern played in the Big Ten championship game last year. I mean, obviously it was a very
bizarre
yeah. situation, but
I just don't think people in Lincoln feel like they should lose to Northwestern under any circumstance.
I don't think they're gonna either. Northwestern is unfortunately not as good as they have been for the last 5 years or so. After, I remember watching them in the Music City Bowl when Benny Snell played for Kentucky and they beat the Wildcats. I don't think this is the same Northwestern team that played in the Big Ten championship game last year. I do think Nebraska's defense is decent. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're as great as whatever Oklahoma beat writer said about them. But I do think they're good enough to win that game. So, but yes, if they lose that game, 100% Scott Frost jumps to the top of the list. If they win that game, I don't think it does anything different. I don't think he moves down the list because of it. But
it doesn't get any cooler.
No, absolutely not.
Here's another one. A couple of teams that lost last weekend in Big 12 action. Texas Tech goes to West Virginia.
It's always such a tough trip up there. I mean, Morgantown is so far away. I mean, let's just be honest. And from Texas Tech, too, from Lubbock.
Yeah, which is probably the furthest most west in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the longest trip in the Big 12 is Lubbock to Morgantown. And
did no one look at a map when they did this?
They were like, map, schmap. Who needs Dora? Right. She can go explore something else. We don't need no stinking maps. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Who needs Siri? Yeah. Shit.
So, yeah, I don't know that this has much career implications on anybody, but I do think it's an intriguing game in the Big 12 because I think it gives either Texas or Oklahoma a little measuring stick.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if one team goes in there and blows out the other, or if it's a tight game, then you go, okay, maybe we're in the same field.
Right.
But if say Tech blows out West Virginia, Texas can go, dang, Oklahoma might be awful. So you're right. That's a good game that will give those two top teams a solid measuring stick. And at least Iowa State gets a week off. I mean, plays Kansas. I'll I'll see myself out.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a selfish game that I to talk about, but the fact that UAB is playing a home game outside of Legion Field for the first time ever, Protective Stadium opens and they get Malik Willis and the Liberty Flames, and Hugh Freeze comes in, and this is a game that is pretty big in conference realignment. I think UAB's got to sell out Protective Stadium to be considered in the AAC's thought process, right?
You would think. I mean, against a fairly well thought of Liberty team.
Yeah, I mean, until they lost to, had they not lost to Syracuse, this would be a top 25 team. So, yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, here's the sad part is Maction. You don't get any late night Maction. You get some late night Mountain West, though. San Jose State hosting New Mexico State. But the Pac-12 has nothing that just makes you go, other than Oregon, Stanford, maybe. Mm-hmm. But that one is Oregon should win this game. I mean, it's kind of
Oregon can only hurt themselves with this ball game.
And it's in our pick'em, and I don't want to go too far into it. But
right.
Yes, you're right. It's a no-win situation for Oregon, even on the road. And that's the problem is it's on the road. So, yeah, that's one you're definitely going to want to watch. And then, of course, the late night Pac-12 after dark, 9:30 start time, Arizona State at UCLA. We saw what happened to UCLA last time in Pac-12 after dark. That's all I'm saying. So this is one of those weeks where I think you're either going to have, you're going to solidify some things, or you're going to give yourself some measuring sticks outside of the SEC.
Outside of the SEC. Here's a game that bears mentioning that we haven't mentioned, and it's a 11 o'clock kick. Michigan at Wisconsin. Number 14 Michigan at unranked Wisconsin. At Camp Randall.
That's why I didn't.
Oh, my bad.
That's why I didn't mention it. But yes, right now in the Big Ten, we are watching an entire conference completely shave the top off of itself, and there's a ceiling for everyone. I mean, we're talking about Penn State being the best team in the conference. And there are some people saying that Auburn may not win 6 ball games. And they went up there and played pretty tough against Penn State. And then Michigan finally looking like the team that everybody thought Jim Harbaugh would have up there. But then you look around the rest of the country and you say, okay, Jim, if not now, then when? So this is a very important game for Jim Harbaugh's career.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a vital game for Jim Harbaugh's career.
Against an unranked Wisconsin team.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and we're going to get more into this in the pick'ems, obviously, but 3 games tonight that kind of sneak up on you in varying degrees of importance.
Ooh.
Yeah. We hadn't even looked at tonight's schedule.
This might be the best game of the weekend outside of the SEC. And it's tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa at Maryland.
That's one of those you can't get there from here. We talked about maps. And
it's literally straight across the map, but you still can't get there. You're flying straight, but.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Number 5 Iowa, and that's a conference game. Isn't that's crazy?
Maryland's undefeated too, by the way.
Number 5 Iowa going to Maryland, where the second highest graded quarterback in the country currently sits, Talia Tagovailoa, with an undefeated record. This is a really, really intriguing matchup. especially considering that top of the Big Ten with the ceiling.
Guys,
I think everybody has the same ceiling.
How about a bonus pick? Because this is not in our pick'ems. Iowa, ranked number 5 in the country, at Maryland, who's also undefeated, both 1-0 in the Big Ten. Iowa is a 3-point favorite on the road.
I've picked against Iowa twice this year,
And they burned it.
and I've been burned both times. And much as I like and respect Mike Loxley, I'm just not sure that. And much as
Do
I
they
like
call
and
him
respect
Sheriff?
the sheriff of Loxley,
They should really
Nice.
call him Sheriff.
Well done.
yeah, and as much as I like and respect Scott Van Pelt, I just don't know if I can pick Maryland in this ball game.
What about Craig Duncan? He's the reason you're picking against him.
Goodness, I forgot about that. Yeah, I guess we know where he'll be at 7:00, huh?
Probably.
Yeah. No, I think Iowa takes care of business in this one.
I think Iowa wins. I think they probably cover because 3 points is pretty low.
Right.
But I think this is going to be a game that Maryland's going to be in the fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a good game to watch. If you have any way of paying attention to this one, I probably would.
I think this Houston Tulsa game at 6:30 is going to be sneaky good too.
I don't really know enough about Houston. Tulsa's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're right. When we come back, we'll tell you our picks. We'll go through all the biggest games of the weekend. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns to the Lee Company studio after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
The sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you with us here on the show. This Friday edition, getting you ready for college and pro football all weekend long. Man, what a fantastic weekend we have planned. Mo's going to Atlanta. I'm going to Alabama. Got the Frog Fest this weekend, Mo.
The Frog
Fest. F-R-A-W-G, Frog. I actually helped name that festival. It's a good one. We are getting set for the biggest games of the week to talk about the Week 5 Pick'em. Currently, I believe I went 5-5 last week. I think you went 5-5, and JP also went 5-5.
And that's the best each of us has done any week, I think, is 5-5. I don't think any of us has had a winning record any week.
So, yeah, you're still 2 games ahead. JP's still 6 games ahead of me, 4 ahead of you. So, that's...
He may stay there.
Yeah, very well may. This is going to be a week that's going to make some differences, though. 17.5 points for Georgia. Jeez. JP, run them down.
You ready? All right, here we go. We start with that one. We go in the order of which they will be playing. So in case you're ever wondering why that is happening, that's what we're doing.
I was wondering why that was happening, because I was hoping we could push Cincinnati Notre Dame to the end.
So we'll start off. We'll start off with the top 10 matchup, and that is number 8 Arkansas at number 2 Georgia, 11 Central. It'll be noon local time, but it is 11 o'clock Arkansas time for whatever that is worth.
It's 11 o'clock here.
Yes. Game day is on. Game day will be there. And Chris and Herbie will be calling the game. They'll be picking from inside the stadium. So they're doing this up big. 17.5-point favorites. The Georgia Bulldogs are at home against the number 8 team in the country from Arkansas.
There's no way Arkansas loses this game by more than that.
10 points-ish?
Yeah. I'm taking Arkansas to cover.
Yeah, no question.
I think Georgia wins.
I agree.
But I don't think they win by 18 points.
I'm not shocked necessarily by the disrespect, but a top 10 SEC team being a 17.5-point dog is unprecedented, if I had to guess. I can't tell you the last time a top 10 SEC team was this big of an underdog. So, Hogs covered.
Pig Suey, I agree. I think they cover. I think they're for real. I think the way that they play will shorten the game. And I think they've proven themselves that they can dominate the line of scrimmage like they did against A&M, like they did against Texas. And Georgia's not that different from those teams. So Arkansas will have a fighting chance, which leads me to believe less than 17.5 points.
I will say that the X factor could be if KJ Jefferson is not 100%, or if he's not able to go.
Yeah, if he goes out early, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah. So
no question the X
I
factor
just want
there.
to cover myself there.
All right. So we all go with the Hogs. Calling the Hogs.
Yes.
All right. You guys referenced this in the previous segment. Number 14, Michigan at unranked Wisconsin. The game is in Madison, and the home team Badgers are a 1.5 favorite against the Wolverines.
A 1.5. That's
1.5. This is a noon Eastern kickoff, 11 Central. This is the big noon Fox game.
You get a 1.5 for being at home, right?
You get 3.
Okay.
So Vegas thinks they ought to lose on a neutral field.
I think Wisconsin, I think you're going to see a bunch of mad Badgers tomorrow. I like Wisconsin in this ball game.
I don't know what the difference between a Badger and a Wolverine is, but it ain't much. They're basically the same animal. So I think Jim Harbaugh knows how important this game is to his career, and I think he is going to impress that upon his team, and his team will win by a field goal.
Okay. I do like Michigan. I think they're for real, as for real as Jim Harbaugh's team get, and Wisconsin is not what they have been in the past. So I do think Michigan covers, and by proxy, more than likely will win outright.
Kind of like Mo said earlier about picking against Iowa, we picked Wisconsin twice and they've burned us, so I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, up next.
I just feel like they're going to bounce back from how bad they looked against Notre Dame.
Fair enough.
They're going to prove it.
I'm not sure how
They're
good
going to have to
Michigan
prove it,
is.
that's all I'm saying.
I understand.
All right. ACC matchup here. It is Louisville at Wake Forest, 24th ranked Demon Deacons, and they are a near touchdown favorite at home, 6.5 points.
Louisville. The quarterback is just too good. This Wake Forest team, I don't know that they know how to play as a favorite. So
They've certainly not had a whole lot of experience.
this is my point.
Yeah.
Quarterback's too good at Louisville.
Malik Cunningham is awfully good. I'm taking the Cardinals in this one.
All right, so let me reference back. Oh, and it's going to refresh on me. I think. Let's see. I believe I have Wake Forest in this one. Hang on. Let me double check. I want to be right. I do have Wake Forest. Yep, I do like Wake Forest in this one. There you go.
Interesting.
Yep, like the Demon Deacons. All right, we move on. Here is that game we were talking about earlier. Number 7. By the way, one of 3 top 12 head-to-head matchups this weekend. 3 top 12 head-to-head matchups. Number 7, Cincinnati at number 9, Notre Dame. The Bearcats of Cincinnati, 2.5-point favorite in South Bend. Oh,
For good reason. Bearcats by 100. Seriously, no. Cincinnati covers the 2.5 points and wins the ball game.
I full disclosure, I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I get caught up in picking against them just because I can't bring myself to pick them. That said, this, as we said in the last segment, this is a game Cincinnati needs to win to assure itself a spot in the playoffs. I'm going with Cincinnati.
Come on.
there you go. I like it. I am not going with Cincinnati. I think Notre Dame, I saw them against Florida State. I watched that game opening weekend. Yeah, thank you. And I really like their team despite how they have not looked great. They find a way to win. I think they find a way to win at home. And Notre Dame stays undefeated. They get the win. There you go. All right, moving on. SEC 2:30 Central CBS. It is number 12 Ole Miss at number 1 Alabama, and the Crimson Tide 14.5-point favorites at home.
Look, I'm gonna throw this out there. Lane Kiffin has been kissing Nick Saban's butt all week, and
You think Nick Saban's going to take it easy on him or something?
I don't know, but what I think is that he is softening up the idea and trying to keep his team the underdog to play that role. I think they do that. They don't lose by more than 2 touchdowns. So therefore, I'm taking Ole Miss.
I'm taking Ole Miss. And I'm taking Ole Miss as much as anything else because of 31-29 Alabama over Florida a couple of weeks ago.
The thing that makes that Ole Miss or that Alabama struggles with the most is a good quarterback, and
Ole Miss has got
Ole
one.
Miss has got one. Yeah.
All right.
I'm taking Ole Miss to cover.
Yep, hotty toddy. I think they cover. I think Alabama will win, but would not surprise me. Ole Miss could sneak. They've done it before, so that's why.
Agreed.
Moving on, we've got number 11, Ohio State. The Buckeyes will be in Piscataway. That is New Jersey, for you geographically challenged out there.
You mean the Big 12?
Why would you want to know where Piscataway is anyway? Rutgers, that's where they are. They, of course, covered against Michigan.
What are Rutgers?
The Scarlet
as
Knights.
Ben Burke
Yeah.
so famously said points.
That's right. 15.5 point favorites are the Buckeyes on the road at Rutgers.
Yeah, 15.5 is too much. Just like last week, Rutgers covers again.
No.
Was that a nah?
Ohio
That's a no.
State certainly they turned on the Jets last week, and I'll give them credit for that. But I don't think this is,
I'm taking Ohio State to cover.
I like Rutgers. Nobody gets up for playing in Piscataway. Rutgers covers in this one. Moving on, we got number 3 Oregon at Stanford. And this game is, where are you? What time of day? This is a 2:30 Central kickoff, so that would be 12:30 local time on the farm. And Oregon, a 7.5 point favorite at Stanford.
Oregon cannot afford to stub their toe right here. I'm taking the Ducks.
I think you're right in that I think Oregon will win the game, and they should win the game. I think Stanford's certainly going to be riding some momentum, but I agree with you. I think Oregon wins this one by about 10.
So they cover. Stanford, this was one of the hardest ones for me. My gut initially told me Stanford covers. I'm going to stick with it, but Oregon wins. So I like Stanford to cover. Oregon wins. Moving on, we got number 6 Oklahoma at Kansas State. Previously ranked Kansas State. Oklahoma, the Sooners, 10.5 point favorites in Manhattan. The Little Apple.
The Little Apple. I keep waiting on Oklahoma to be Oklahoma. And maybe they've just been Oklahoma, but I'm taking them to cover this.
I think I've been waiting for Oklahoma to be Oklahoma too, and I think finally they get it done this week.
Yeah.
I got the Sooners.
I think Oklahoma is who they've been, who we thought they were. Maybe not who they thought we were, but who they've been. And I think Kansas State, a 10.5 point double-digit home dog, Kansas State. I can't go against that. I like the Wildcats to cover. Oklahoma will find a way to win, but Kansas State covers at home. All right, up next, we've got number 21 Baylor. That's right, number 21 Baylor, undefeated at number 19 Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy and his boys are 4.5 point favorites at home.
He's a man. He's 50.
Much older than 40.
Yeah, no doubt. Taking the Cowboys in this one at home.
Yeah, Baylor's surprisingly pretty good. I'm not sure that they deserve to be ranked 21st, but hey, who does at this point? So I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State just because I think Gundy is this team is really good, and offensively they're gonna be fantastic. And at home, it's the Pokes.
Yeah, I like the Pokes as well. Oklahoma State, they've proven it, I think, more than Baylor has. Until Baylor wins this, then maybe I'll think about picking them next week. But I like Oklahoma State. They've proven it. They cover and they win. All right, and finally, we've got about a minute left, guys. We've got SEC Tiger versus Tiger, 22 Auburn at LSU, but the home Bayou Bengals, 3.5 point favorites, 8 o'clock local time in Death Valley.
I can't pick against LSU at 8 o'clock in Baton Rouge. I'm taking the home Tigers.
But Auburn's played in Happy Valley already this year, so this won't be anything, will it?
Oh, here we go.
No.
Here we go. You throwing that in my face?
No, I think Auburn. I think Auburn starts Bo Nix. I think at some point TJ Finley plays, and I think TJ Finley wins the ballgame for him.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm with Mo. It's hard to go against the Bayou Bengals. LSU Tiger Stadium at night, and they've got to be hungry. Coach O will have them. One heartbeat. Go Tigers. There you go. 10 seconds. Get us out of here, Chris.
Hey, y'all, keep up. Stay tuned. We're still on. High school football preview show coming at you right now. We'll be back Monday, 4 o'clock. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint for Mo Patton and JP Plant. I'm Chris Yao. Have a great day and stay cool.